Welcome to our Orange Couch discussion today, Search Engine Optimization and Social Media Marketing for Dentists. My name is Jack Hadley with My Social Practice. I'm often asked the question, what's the difference between an SEO strategy and a social media strategy for my dental practice? I think the easiest way to start to think about this is to think about the differences between what is often called Web 1.0 and 2.0. Let me go through this briefly. It requires just a little bit of explanation to really grasp the difference between these two strategies. So let's talk for a minute about traditional marketing and how it led to Web 1.0 strategies. As you know, in the old days, before the internet, if you wanted to do some marketing, you'd hire an ad agency. They would take some great photos, do a great logo, pick some colors, and you'd do a nice printed brochure, and that brochure would end up being printed and kind of etched in stone. It was a snapshot in time and certainly put your best foot forward. Most of you probably had these kind of brochures in the past and maybe still use them. They're still relevant and useful in many ways. As those messages and imagery and branding got developed, it was usually pushed through to most of your marketing, including direct mail, billboards, and other advertising messages and marketing tactics. Probably somebody came along to you 10 years ago or something and said, what you really need now is a website. You need to be online. So basically you took the brochure and moved the pictures and the colors and the message and the snapshot in time, quote unquote, online, and suddenly you had your brochure on the internet. The interesting thing is that they were just the same, and they were not dynamic in any way. They didn't invite any kind of engagement. They were static. It's just one that was electronic and one was printed with ink and paper. With Web 2.0, when that came along, the internet really changed, or the ways in which we use the internet, I should say, dramatically changed. Here's an image of a typical blog site that we create for our clients, and you'll be able to tell that it's a very dynamic environment. As you look through the ways in which the dental practice engages with their audience, there are lots of opportunities for people to do different things. There's lots of calls to action. For example, subscribe to our newsletter, share on your social media with your social media accounts, leave a comment, like our Facebook page, enter to win in this promotion, request an appointment, connect with us, connect with our other tools. And of course follow us on Twitter. So you can see that suddenly the way in which you're online or you're on the internet is very different from your old static website to a more dynamic platform. Now in many ways Web 1.0 and 2.0 were exactly the same. That the internet has not really changed very much itself as far as the mechanics of the internet, but certainly Web 1.0 is linear and 2.0 is bidirectional. We kind of quote-unquote used Web 1.0. We interact and engage with Web 2.0. And certainly 2.0 is community-driven, it's collaborative, it's user-defined. And what I mean by user-defined is back in your old static website, you kind of defined your brand. It was whatever you said it was in these static images and in your website. With Web 2.0, really, it's user-defined, which means that your brand is what other people really say your brand is. Now, obviously, you have a lot of opportunity to steer that, if you will, but it's certainly companies and brands are more user-defined in this dynamic Web 2.0 environment. So, with that in mind, you might be saying to yourself, okay, Jack, I get the difference now between Web 1.0 and 2.0. But what does that have to do with SEO and social media strategies? Well, that's a great question. So let's go back for just a minute to Web 1.0 and 2.0. And let me kind of distinguish between these two different strategies to help you kind of see how it affects SEO and social media marketing. Web 1.0 was, for the most part, non-participatory. In other words, it was much like your other traditional marketing. When you wrote a check to the Yellow Pages, for example, you didn't think about marketing on the Yellow Pages after you wrote the check. When you wrote a check to the billboard company to put billboards up or the direct mail provider to send out direct mail, you didn't really participate after that. You wrote the check you were finished. Web 1.0 is much the same way. It's a non-participatory strategy. You have a website up, it's up, you're finished. Web 2.0, on the other hand, is very participatory. You have an opportunity to interact and engage and create relationships. In fact, often social media marketing is referred to as relationship-based marketing. So how does that fit into thinking about SEO versus social media? Well, SEO really is also a more traditional non-participatory practice. This is something that you can write a check for and you really don't worry about very much. It's, for the most part, SEO is external marketing, whereas social media marketing is really primarily internal marketing. Now, it reaches out and becomes external marketing in many ways, but as a foundational way of thinking about social media, it's really primarily internal marketing. SEO is, I often think about it and explain it as left brain activity. It's really about mathematics and algorithms and science and keywords. Essentially, it's about fooling search engines into believing that you're more relevant than you really are, if you get right down to what SEO really is. There are a number of components to search engine optimization, including pay-per-click advertising, local directory listings, soliciting reviews. All of these things are intended to be sort of keyword optimized for search. On the other hand, social media marketing is really right brain activity. It's about people. It's about relationships. It's about leveraging communities. It's about word of mouth online. It's about creating stories that spread, stories about your culture, about the kind of practice that you are, the kind of people that you are. Its objective is to generate more referrals and to create greater retention within your practice. So as you think about SEO versus social media, think of left brain activity versus right brain activity, non-participatory activity versus participatory activity. Seth Godin, who you probably have heard of, is described often described as one of the best marketing minds in this modern day, has said, you can no longer market to the anonymous masses. They're not anonymous and they're not masses. You can only market to people who are willing participants. So going back to this little separation that I've drawn here for you, I'm often asked, well, is there overlap? Are they completely separate, or is there some overlap? And yes, there is some overlap. And there are some things that kind of fall into both categories and sort of tie these two strategies together. One of the most recent ones, which we're really quite excited about at My Social Practice, is Google+. Now, it's a little early to tell exactly how Google+ is going to tie these two sides of the equation together, but certainly Google+ is on its way to attempting to do that. It's kind of early to see exactly how that's going to play out, but we spent a lot of time brainstorming it for our dental clients, and certainly it is probably the most prominent piece right now that's going to maybe bring these two sides together a little bit. We are integrating it into much of our strategy here at My Social Practice for our clients. So both are important. I don't want this presentation, I don't want you to walk away from my presentation today thinking that we don't think SEO is important. Both can be important. Just remember that they're very different. They're not the same thing. And the strategies and the mindset, if you will, behind these are very, very different. Also, we caution you, merge these two strategies at your own risk. And what I mean by that, I want to show you some examples of things that are not good that often happen when a dental practice does not understand the difference between these two strategies. One of the things I see most often is there's a risk of abusing the people that are most important to you. And who are the people most important to you from your business perspective? It's your patient base. And it's the people that are investigating your practice. It's the prospects that are thinking about becoming your patients. If you merge these two and don't understand the difference between SEO and true social media marketing, you run the risk of abusing those relationships. Let me show you a quick example here. Here is actual copy from blog posts that were generated by SEO website developers who do a lot of SEO, and called this social media marketing. Now let me read the headline. How many dental implants can help your smile in 84003? Now I highlighted that headline in yellow just to draw attention to it, but isn't that crazy that in order to get Google to think that they're relevant and to better find this post, they write crazy headlines like this that people look at and go scratch their head and say, what? Obviously you're not talking to me, Mr. Dentist. You don't care about me. All you care about is trying to attract Google's attention. Here's another one. I've highlighted underneath the headline there. Most Provo Orem residents have plenty of things to smile about. However, there are some American Fork and Pleasant Grove folks who avoid smiling at all costs. Now, these communities are all in the same proximity, Provo Orem and American Fork and Pleasant Grove. They're all within just a few miles of each other. So this copy is saying, well, people down the street have plenty to smile about, but people just a mile or two away don't have anything to smile about. And so the copy just doesn't make any sense. I mean, these kinds of posts are just ridiculous. They're hard to read, and people know what they're about, that you have no intention of really talking to them. You're just trying to attract Google search. So when you try to mix true social media with SEO, it just doesn't work. And second, you run the risk of yourself being suckered into sort of a fake social media marketing mindset. In other words, there are people out there who will make you believe you can write a check for social media marketing, and suddenly you quote-unquote have it. You are a social media marketing practice because somehow you wrote a check to somebody and you don't have to participate. Let me show you an example. I see so much of this lately. It's really quite disturbing, actually. We just recently wrote a post on our website entitled 3 Questions to Help You Determine If Your Dental Practice is Really Ready for Social Media Marketing. I encourage you to go read that post if you're trying to decide whether or not you're ready to kind of embark down this social media marketing road. One of the things that we point out in this blog article is there are some SEO experts and web development folks who are trying to tack on social media marketing as just another item on the checklist of things that they provide. And what that does is it results in stuff that we call really fake social media marketing for dentists. So here's an image from a Facebook account from a practice who has kind of gotten suckered into this mindset. Let me read this for you. A Facebook wall full of generic dental content posts pushed from a website. No interaction with patients or prospects. You may as well be running a billboard campaign in the middle of the rainforest because there's no interaction. And suddenly you think because you have this crap on your Facebook page that suddenly you're a social practice, that you're doing social media marketing. I mean, give me a break. You know that that's not true. Here's a Twitter page, same thing, developed by the same kind of companies that are trying to make you believe that this is social media. So let me read this. Does this look anything like engagement or two-way conversation? It's like walking into a cocktail party, jumping up on the bar and yelling, me, 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 me. How many friends are you going to make doing this? So if you look down through these posts, I mean, it's just talking about himself. Come buy my stuff. Come buy my dentistry. Come spend money with me. I mean, it's just me, 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 me. Social media is not about that. Don't get suckered into thinking that that's the way social media works. It's not. And you need to understand that. It's really, really important. Chris Brogan, a thought leader in this space, has said, marketing has changed. Today, marketing is about engaging with communities and delivering products and services with stories that spread. So, in conclusion, people wouldn't go to an obstetrician for dental implants, right? So, don't go to an SEO expert or a website developer for social media advice. Find somebody to help you, and I don't mean to make a blatant pitch for My Social Practice, but here at My Social Practice, we have a fully integrated support program that will help you become a social business, become a social dental practice. We focus exclusively on social media marketing for dental practices, orthodontic practices, and find someone that can really support you in your efforts, not take over your voice or take over your efforts, but support you and help you see how social media marketing can build your business. Thank you for your time today. Jack Hadley with My Social Practice. We appreciate you listening.